Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in Sunless Sea. My name is Luigi, and what is that? Lights off. What is? I don't want to fight that, whatever it is. Okay, it's facing the other way, so we're gonna lose it. That thing was creepy looking. You know, we've gotten too far. We need a bigger boat. That's a rib cage over there? My voice just changed. Another ZB corporate was carrying. We approach the selenite. That one still has flesh on it. That one can't have died too long ago if it already still has flesh on it, unless it's been mummified, but that's unlikely because of all the moisture in the air. Discovered Ponzia's Reef. I think it took us 6 fuel to cross, so... Well, if we get down to 6 fuel, we can always turn around and go back up to the, Savior's Rocks. Still no islands. Yeah, it's definitely a turtle shell. That's a second rib cage? Or is it the third? Still no islands. That's a long spinal column, it's the same one. Laughter from the foredeck, that's good, at least people are laughing. Ostaval is a long way to the south. Laughter from the foredeck, that's the same one. Now we enter the colonnades. This is a wild and glorious scent in the air, a kind of light. Why do sailors... I missed that line. Slow down. Why do sailors fear this place? Bioluminescent plants. Interesting. Leslie's Harbor. So we're about to find out why people fear this place. Ostival's sun. Sun, a great beam of sunlight bathes the island. Squint into the dazzle. Far above there's a hole in the roof. In that lie you see beaches of white gold sand, trees heavy with bright fruit, the reeds and blues and greens of the surface. Investigate the ruins. There was some kind of installation here. And what looks like a handsome country house? Who was here and what happened to them? Gather supplies. That's a good idea. Go beachcombing. If you're lucky, you might pick up treasures. More likely, you'll pick up bits of wood and the occasional interesting arthropod. Follow report. Definitely want to write that one. The burning after image. Your eyes water, the pages blur. The report is one of joy-filled compliant. Ostaval has a beauty too bright to be appreciated, but perhaps the Admiralty can find something of use. Okay, let's see what gather supplies. Exotic delights. You fill your stores with breadfruit, sugarcane, coconut, soft-shelled crabs, and plump birds too stupid to know as hungry sailor from a tree. Are they talking about the dodo bird? Probably. But on the way back to the ship, one of your crew topples over with a groan. She's smiling blissfully. Go on, Captain, she says. I've missed the sun. Her eyes close. Sunlight is perilous for those who've lived in the neath too long. That's why. We've gained 11 supplies. Holy. And investigate the ruins. Red birds singing. A garden overgrown with berry bushes. A wooden trestle table set for a meal. Chairs strewn with bones. A half-dozen skeletons. A red-breasted bird perches on a grinning cranium. It cocks an eye at you and bursts into song. A liquid, thrilling song. It seems unperturbed as you approach to poke through the bones. No sign of violence. No fire. No bullets. No bites. These people died peacefully, sitting down to breakfast. As the surface sunlight spilled over them. Sunlight can kill at any time. The longer you remain here, the more danger you're in. So why did they stay? Perhaps they stayed because Ostaval is as beautiful as anywhere in the Neath, and 10 times as generous. It's a fine place for a colony. You could found your own pocket kingdom if you could do something about the sun. But what? What is the power over sunlight? What makes the impossible possible? To found a colony, bring something to Ostaval that can protect against sunlight. Interesting. That'd be an interesting thing to do. Still not what we're looking for. We're looking for polythrome, though. At least we got lots of food now. Uh, so I guess that's why sailors fear that island, because, well, they've lived so long underground that their bodies have acclimatized to living without sunlight, and the sunlight, it produces a shock to the system. Heat stroke maybe as well? Or I'm just overthinking it, and we're going to go with magic. Oh crap. A Bemmy mustache? What? It's a catfish. A giant catfish. I think it's time we made our way back. Well, no. Do we want to try fighting that? Conchata, we don't want to go there. Okay, the Behemoth has given up. Conchata's a long way to the north. There's a place there. The wind carries the echo of distant chants. Long dead priests still count the hours in this place. Well, we found a port. Lightship. A clear, bright beam warms the way. Speak to the crew. They long for news of home or purchase fuel. That's actually not that more expensive. In the bleaching glare of the lens, among the smell of oil and metal, you sip tea and chat. The Z terrors recede. You've lost terror. We're only haunted now. Let's purchase some fuel. Polythrome has to be in this little corridor here, I'd say. Actually, there's that temple thing that was down to the south. I wonder if that's still there. Or if the land masses have moved like it talked about in one of the tooltips or something. Yeah, I want to find out if that island's still there. Fathom King's Hold is some distance to the south. Well, I guess we found a destination. The Promised Sea. All through this place, the song of the drownies lies shivering sweet along the wind. That is an interesting bioluminescent plant. Lots of bioluminescent things here. Discovered Fathom King's Hold. Interesting. Bioluminescent beasts like eyeless dolphins play in your wake. Whoops, I almost ran into the pier. Dock. Whoa. What just happened? The screen changed for some reason. Lorcan's Pork, named for that most enterprising of drownies. Phosphor cells burn green somewhere below the king waits. Like an iceberg, the bazaar master scheme, like beneath itself, most of the hold is invisible. You see only a tiny portion of sculpted coral. The rest waits below the surface. The Fathom King's bone rooms and aquaria, his pearl snares and his dining chair. Are these mermaids? Descend to an audience with the Fathom King. Fathom King is lord of the drownies, those dead who won't stop swimming. By some account, he's the lord to all who die at sea. Bring him a story to tickle his curiosity. Sure. Speaking to the porter. The porter has the skin of a shark. She has a drowned woman's eyes. It is not permitted to look at her hands. Yes, she rests. That story is sufficient. She opens the valves of pearls and permits you to pass into the conduit. This is the salt brown heart of the hold. The Fathom King floats in his throne, a gem-starred bowl of sea stone. the size of a banqueting table. He's wearing a dressing gown of purple brocade soaked dark with salt water. He leans his chin calmly on his hand. Beneath the surface of the water in his throat, he is hidden regions pulse, constantly insisting. Uh, Perhaps it's someone you know, perhaps you fell from, perhaps you're simply desperate for. This is an expensive way to gain crude. Now, witness an execution. Two silent guards in thorned exocells drag a Hatland dragging forward. No, she shrieks. I'm no friend of spiders. I have never purchased silk. It was a gift, your complexity. I have always been loyal. Ask a boon of the king. You have brought the king as a story gift. You may ask a gift in return. It's impossible to know what you'll receive. Let's ask for a gift. Sea coal. We've gained fuel. That's fine. Black fire, the king intones. Risen from the sea. Remember me with its vapors. He smiles directly into your eyes. The audience is over. You return to the surface. Haunched, plated, scuttling sloughs haul baskets of wet coal behind you. Awesome. Port report. Those granted audience return dazed, awestruck. The king is not generous, but occasionally he is fair. Surely. Sure. Lost terror, you've gained a memory of distance to shore. Captain, I think I might have slept. I know it was foolish, but my soul is soothed. I dreamt of another place, beneath a sky of amethyst. My skin was crusted with jewels, my claws were strong. Captain, if we pass this way again, I would ask leave to visit the hold again. Well, I think that's enough for this. Do they have shops? No, they don't, but we did get some fuel, so. I wonder why they changed the camera there. Discovering Larkin's port. No, that's not what we want to go this way to see if that temple thing is still down there. There are no islands within Z-Bat range. This little ship should not be out here. I wonder if Polythrome is a port that was pointed out to us, but we just didn't visit. There's a light. There's a light coming from down there. Is it another of those light ships? I'll have to wait for it to pass over us again, but I think it is. You buttery boom of light on the southern horizon. You approach Varkas, the mirrored city. Let's check our hold. That might have a hint of what's supposed to be. Port report, torpedo components, memoirs. That's an Invictus token. Memory of Distant Shores secret. Laminal relic. Oh, right, journal. Here we go. Journey with the sisters. Favors, a proposal. You've been asked to pick something up. I just see that. Captain's lost. Captains have died. These things happen. Memoirs. Oh, here we go. Objectives. Ambition. Retire your life of luxury. Admiralty's commission. Retrieve strategic information from Iron and Misery Company. Funging station somewhere not far from home waters. Collect cargo from the... Collect from Polythrome in the Sea of Voices. No idea where that is. To found a colony. Bring something to Austral that can protect against sunlight. The venture, a dream in a dream. He has a plan to colonists. Ventures to find 7 strange catches or 7 hunting trophies. So yeah, we're looking for the Sea of Voices, wherever that is. Oops, I accidentally, do we have a Sea of Voices listed? No. I accidentally just wasted some of my fuel. Rouse at midnight. As the first watch ends, shouts for our rouse you. Your bosun faces grim as you emerge on dock. We lost one. Weighted himself with pans and went overboard. Took cook's best kettle too. Morale's worsening. Place a guard on the cookware. Address the crew. Let's give him some extra rum. Discovered Varkas. Man, we're a long way from home. Port Endromes. Burning Light of Varkas. Choke on this. The walled city of Varkas is a tangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers slow blooming around moldering stone. A quincunx of carved steep towers rise over the walls and pour burning white light onto the bleak sea. A rough shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varkas. Two towered carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and a blue-cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-hushed, sprawling darkness of the elder continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Choke on the smell. It is overpowering sweet and comes from the fungus growing wild over the city stones. The sailors they are sitting on some upturned crates on the docks, playing a game of mirrored chips and stylized snakes made of bone. Let's first compile a port report. Let's see what happens when we wish to enter. Well, what else are gates for if not to go through? He's got a point there, but they're also designed to keep certain things out. She makes a mark in her ledger before ringing a brass bell. The mirrors of the gates rearrange to give you space to pass, but never once allow shadow to touch the guard. Our ways are not yours, Thomas. Remember that, and walk in the light of Mihir. Firekeeper. White cloaked guard, fungus carter. He is winking at you. That's a furtive wink or a flirtation. Only one way to find out. Your cart is piled high with fungal blooms and jars of algae painstakingly scraped from the surface of the walls. The white cloak guard. The sun embroidered on his cloak are picked out with gold thread and the edges jeweled with carnelian. I have no idea what that is, but the gold thread is interesting. The firekeeper. Dressed in all saffron, a pair of thick fireproof gloves dangle from a silver chain at her waist. I want to talk to the firekeeper. The tardy lamp writer. But these are the ones that do interesting things. Let's talk to the guard. Thomas, he presses his hand together in greeting, then gives you an English look. You look terrible. Are you sick with a terrible outsider's disease, or is that what your nose is naturally like? Over your protestations, he gives you directions to the hospital. Oh, the medics are all butchers, to be sure, but they walk in the light of Mihir, he adds breezily, and then points out the guardhouse in the vague direction of the Temple of Mihir, and a street of bars and gaming houses. We don't want to get a reputation for being inhospitable. He laughs as if he had made a grand joke, and you laugh along weakly. Okay, let's talk to the firekeeper now. I'm too important to play guide to you, Thomas, she tells you before even you open over your mouth. I'm the keeper of the western principal mirror. She points up at the enormous multi-faced mirror set atop each of the city's 5 towers. I'm only here because I'm looking for my idiot brother. He's probably busy pouring wine down some pretty dark-eyed boy's throat in a tavern. Another phone call, dang it. Alright, I'm back. We only have a few minutes left in this episode, so let's finish this little storylet thing. I'm only here because I'm looking. Okay. Is it a matter of great urgency, you wonder? He's late for his lamp checks in the sacred discotheque is her terse reply. I imagine that's quite important in this city. As she hurries away, if the Agrantorti found out, he'd be lucky to end up at a lake dredger. Is this the brother? He looks utterly overjoyed to make your acquaintance. He bangles on his wrist, flashing as he presses his hand together in greetings. My friends and I would be honored if you would attend a small gathering with us, Thomas. We are so eager to hear about the world outside Varka's city walls. It seems an innocuous enough invitation, but then why does his gaze dart around so anxiously as he tells you how to find his mansion in the Eastern District? This is too suspicious. Bars and game house. The hospital lies in the southern guardhouse, Temple of Mihir. Benching the Jewel Turban Youth. Let's see what's going on with this kid. Well, he did invite you after all. You are not entirely sure what you were expecting from the Jeweled Turban Youth invitation. Perhaps a candlelit dinner and a gentle seduction? It turns out to be an evening of card games and chilled wine with his rather eclectic collection of friends. But as the wine is drunk and the cards are played, the gathering takes on a certain political tone. A raggedly dressed artisan begins complaining about the Agronau's trade restrictions. A novice priest points out contradictions in Mihir's mantras. A stone carver questions whether his daughter should also have to follow in the same profession. Will you, the gerbil prone, you stares at you looking at us. Will you tell us a story? Return to the city. Invent event. Let's tell them about myself. You wet your throat with tart wine and fix your eyes in a carved lintel and begin your own somewhat convoluted tale. At the end, they look slightly dissatisfied, slightly relieved. We were hoping, the jewel trooper news cruiser said, that you would tell us, he pitches his voice lower, lies? Interesting. Are they not allowed to lie on this island? You are a little insulted after all. It's not as if you make a habit of telling strangers of your past. I mean no insult, he adds placately. We only have true stories here in Varkas, and no inventions, no made-up tales. Oh. Let's try it. Perhaps the wine is muddling your tongue, or maybe the fungus smells your direction. You can't seem to weave the threads of your story together into a whole. Your hero, a dashing sea captain, turns unexpectedly into a drowner, and so you pack him off to the tomb colonies, much to everyone's confusion. That was interesting. I think it's time to return to the city center. And I think that should be it. Can we leave yet? Apparently not. So let's get this going a bit longer. There are bars and gaming houses to the west, the hospital. Let's go west. See why. Are you feeling a little fervored? Do you hope to learn medical secrets, or perhaps you enjoy the moans and fleshing faces of the sick and suffering? But they keep it closed off. The doctors and nurses all wear masks when they enter. How bad could a how bad could a fungal infection be? Really? The ward is locked several times over, and the door of nurse looks uncomfortable when you mention it. The open ward. Officers the brisk campaigner, officers the haunted doctor. Offer your services. No. That's tough. Guardhouse? What's going on? What pick up a busy day? Always so besieged. Train with the guards. Sure. The sergeant does not reject when you slip into line, but he doesn't treat you with any particular gentleness either. You practice hand-to-hand combat for a few hours and end up on your back more often than not. They fight in an unfamiliar late-footed style. A few of the more advanced recruits deal with curvy twin-bladed scimitars. Interesting, the sergeant grunts at the end of your session. You are bruised and quite possibly concussed, but quite satisfied with your morning and think they may have learned something in turn. You've gained 2 iron, I approve. You succeeded an iron challenge. Sweet. I encourage we now have respect of the guards. Interesting. Now we'll eventually be able to turn the guy in. Interesting. Our things are dropped. The nails of towers no more than 4. We have 5. Well, time to go to the inn. Each time at the evening bell after the 5th bell, each Thomas is assigned. Oh, okay. We have a time limit of how long we're allowed in there. All visitors to Varkas are given 1 night's accommodation in the city's only inn. It is a handsome stone mansion arranged around a pleasantly cool courtyard. Frescoes of city life are painted on the walls. Given how few visitors Varkas hosts, you suspect the inn is more usually used by philandering locals. Evening falls, or does it? The town's 5 principal mirrors are mounted on coiled spring mechanisms, and alter their angles subtly to create the impression of evening. Across the city, the firekeepers throw pinches of colored powder into lamps, and the quality of yellow light is to a softer brightness. Interesting. So they simulate a day-night cycle. The wine maze lamplighter, the kitchens, the courtyard. Sleep. Don't sleep. Let's... Oh, okay, the tardy lamplighter thing. He starts up in horror, spilling bungy red wine everywhere. His young companion looks irritated. I'm late, he shouts. May I forgive me. The Aquacorner is going to skin me alive. He pumps your hand in gratitude. Thank you, Thomas. I won't forget. Here, take my arc jewels. You now have 3 outlandish artifacts. Okay, we found the brother. The courtyard. Let's go to the courtyard. You hear the word Thomas being whispered, and the musicians grow nervous that their fingers slip on strings and their tongues forget their lyrics. You leave them to your music before you ruin their evening entirely. It is night, although there is no darkness in Varkas. Time to sleep. Dream of smoking. A bed is low and wide and draped with cotton sheets stamped with vegetable. Let's sleep. This can't ever go wrong. You fall into sleep easily despite the bright lights, but your dreams are full of whispering, glittering smokes, mere vapors that coil into reflection warping shapes. You see your limbs bend, your skin slow. Your eyes twist, you wake with your heart pounding, your nostrils are full of the fungal rot smell of Varkas. Your body is as it always was, but somehow it is not as comforting as it should be. We now have medicine dream of smoke. Dawn in Varkas. Outsider time in Varkas is strictly rationed. Each morning at dawn, the guard visits the inject any Tamas they find. They are polite but very definite. Okay. Into the dark return, the guard tells you, but not yet. With that, they usher you into the darkness beyond the walls. You blink, mirror dazzling dazzles from your eyes. It's cold out here. There we go. We've gained terror. Great. No shops. Well, that's going to be it for this episode, it looks like. I will see you all in the next one, where hopefully we find polythrome so we can return. It's got to be out here somewhere. I'm going to search over. I think I'm getting rid of this pocket. Search through this pocket here in the next episode, if I remember, and then cut this off and maybe here. Yeah, head back that way. We'll see what happens though. Bye.